I got to take a photo, because if it's not on LinkedIn, the thing didn't really happen. So hold on, y'all. We did it, y'all. I don't know if that was a video or not. All right. Number one, thank y'all. You could be anywhere in the world right now. You decide to hang out with us. I take that very seriously. I'm a very big believer in value for time. So my big focus over the next 2 days is to make sure you get value for time. I think we've done that with a couple of ways and a couple strategies. But before I even get into those strategies or even talking about that, I need to give a couple special thanks. Number one, I need to thank vocally Devin Coyer, Braden Coyer, Dennis Garcia, Clint Myers, Eric Anderson. Please, thank y'all. There's no way that this would be happening if it wasn't for those individuals really sacrificing and dedicating time. And I really have to thank a couple companies in particular. And that is, before I even get into the keynote part, I have to thank, can I please get the loudest thank you to Yum Brands, please? Without a shadow of a doubt, this would not be happening without them. There's no way on this, it's impossible. With that being said, last year was the first year we ever did Commit Your Code 2024. When we did it, I'll admit, I made it very difficult for us. We only had 2 months. And so we learned a lot. We didn't do that 2-month thing again. We spread it out this time. But every company I went to, I thought it was going to be so easy to get sponsors. Every company it was an immediate no. There was only a handful of companies that really showed up. And even though some of them are not even sponsors this year, I have to thank them again. Because if it wasn't for them, there's no way this thing would be even happening. So I need to give a little special shout out to Grafana Labs, GitHub, yes, please. They showed up when nobody would. And I have to give a special shout out to AppRight. They are back again as a sponsor again this year, but they were one of the few that immediately jumped on it last year. So please, special shout out to AppRight. Dang, I guess you sleep that fast? I gotta keep touching this laptop, okay. I have to say a couple shout outs. Number one, obviously you can see our amazing sponsors for this year. We definitely have a few more. And as you know, we don't monetize the conference. I'm very transparent about all the funds that we get. We don't keep a penny of it. Even all these amazing volunteers that I mentioned earlier that are dedicating time. Some of us are using PTO or even unpaid time off just to make sure that we're doing this conference. And so we're basically losing money to be up here. So thank you for that. But I will say, huge shout outs to our platinum sponsors, of course, Agora.io. Agora is phenomenal as far as I'm concerned. And let me F11 this thing right here. Oh, it's the wrong key. Yeah, there we go. Agora, huge shout out to them. Absolutely, absolutely. Number one, phenomenal team. If you haven't seen their booth, I highly recommend going by there. They're going to be right next to, and I know a lot of people already asked, the headshot station. So after the open networking session, we'll have headshots going. Last year, a lot of people were worried because we only had the photographer for 3 hours. This year, we have it for both days. So you don't have to miss sessions that you don't want to miss. You don't have to be in that line. If it's too long a line, just come back. You got the entire 2 days. Headshots are completely free. I know for some people, it's either difficult to afford them, which I totally get, or the other side of it is, hey, you don't necessarily know how to get a photographer and all those other things. Regardless of that, those headshots are there. We have those photographers donating their time. It'll be here for both days. The other side of it is, of course, you can see the whole indoor mini golf course, so knock yourselves out, have some good fun with that. Utilize that, even like if you're too nervous to talk to people, that's an activity you can do and just have a conversation together, which I think is fantastic. How many of y'all have got your prompt cards? I love the prompt card idea. I'm so glad that we're doing this. And if you're too nervous to talk to people, don't even introduce yourself. Walk up and just say your prompt. Let me be the bad guy, all right? I'm more than happy to be the bad guy. Put it on me. I'm telling y'all to do it. And then as you say your prompt, have them say theirs, and then turn your cards over and sign the backs, all right? Now, if you notice with our badges, we were actually thinking to do printed badges, and we stopped it. And we basically have the sections where you can write what you want to tell the public. This is your information. Write your name, write your tech stack, write maybe the company, whatever you want to write, just write it. But we want to allow you that privilege instead of us printing out stickers and forcing you to give out that information, okay? Just treat everyone as human beings, please. This is a very, very, very safe space. We don't mess around with that. No one should be making anyone feel uncomfortable. Very graciously, Yum has security here as well. They don't play around. They know their stuff, so be on top of it, y'all. But please just respect folks. You know, it should go without saying, but I just want to say our code of conduct is very strict. There'll be no sexual harassment of any kind, no rude comments of any kind. You'll be asked to leave at that point. Any questions about that? I think I made it clear. All right. With that being said, of course, shout outs to Yum. And of course, I'll agree to that, tracking. Huge shout out to Yum. And I do know, if you look at the booth sections, Yum has a massive booth, and they're hiring. So, like, have some good conversations. Maybe you can get a job out of it. Yum, phenomenal campus, as you can obviously see, so it's not a bad place to work at all. And of course, shout outs to Vonage, and I'll accept the tracking. Huge shout out to Vonage. They have a great booth as well. Great team, actually, that are very active and very knowledgeable. So all three of these amazing sponsors, among all the others, will be answering questions. So especially if you have any questions around like conversational AI or AI engines, great booths to stop by and like really find out more about. I think that there's some really great conversations there. And if you're interested in that, obviously, so, like a little bit selfish of myself, but I work at This.Labs. I'm a director of technology at This.Labs. Yeah. This.Lab, yeah, I know that's right. Say that again. Can I get another yeah? Yeah. This dot is a tech consultancy. But I'm going to be honest with you. We're really different. It's not, and I know people say that, but I really, really mean that. I worked in Fortune 500 before this. I worked with consultants that just tried to churn stuff out and put out very mediocre code that which you just had to go back and fix anyway. It's not the case here. Developer education is probably one of our biggest tools that we have. We have some of the most viewed developer content out there. We have some of the most popular podcasts around. We have Modern Web. It's like a top 30 in the world for JavaScript alone. So if you're in the JavaScript ecosystem, highly recommend checking that out. And if you're not in the JavaScript ecosystem, we could fix that by you listening to the podcast. And of course, we have the Leadership Exchange, where we've interviewed some of the biggest leaders in tech, like the CTO of Century has been on there, CEO of Netlify, et cetera, et cetera. Huge, huge people. CTO of Vercel has been on there. So really great from a business level conversation. So if you're into that, your average developer probably won't be listening to that one, but if you're an engineering manager above, that's probably the one that you're going to be tuning into. But on top of that, we have tons of workshops, including this one. So if I know we have quite a few executives in the room, thank you for coming out. I know some executives even bought tickets for your teams. Thank you for doing that. You're an amazing boss. 10 out of 10, the yearly review, I recommend you. And thank you, yeah, absolutely. That goes a long way. And with that being said, we have, if AI is something that's new, we're obviously going to be a theme at this conference for sure. But in regards to AI, if you're new to it, your teams, you want to enable them, we have a great workshop coming up on October 10th. Really, really phenomenal. If you want to go to ai.this.co/workshops, you can look into it and see if it's great for your team. And if you're really interested in sending your whole team, send me a DM, and we'll work out a discount code for you to make sure that you get them in there in an affordable way. All right? And with that being said, I think I've covered all my bases. Is there something I'm missing? I don't think so. Okay. So I'm making sure I covered all the bases there. I believe I did. And now, let me get to this next thing. I want to run my mouth for a few minutes. And so to kind of let you into what we're doing right now, I will be talking about something, and then I will have an amazing fireside chat with the CTO of Yum Brands. And there's some good insight in this conversation that I think is going to go a really, really long way. And so with that being said, enter full screen mode. Hey, there, it worked that time. No F11 needed there. Okay. All right, y'all. Hopefully it's not too loud. Do not get loud. All right, y'all. I have scars. Some I'm proud of. Some I try to hide with facial hair. And today, in the age of AI, well, here's the thing. Every single one of these scars represents something a machine will never have. Hard-won wisdom, which I think most scars end up teaching us a lesson. Lessons carved into memory by failure, by frustration, by survival. And today, in the age of AI, wisdom is not the edge we can afford to lose. Think about the toughest meeting you've ever been in. The all-hand crisis call, the postmortem, the client apology tour. We've been there. My bad. Dashboards glowing red, tension thick in the air. In that room, every single time, there are two conversations happening. One is about the data, the logs, the metrics, the user reports, what happened, right? The other is pretty quiet, the knowing glances. Someone whispers, this kind of feels like the '08 data corruption incident. Check the legacy payment gateway, see if that broke. That's not knowledge, that's wisdom. And that wisdom only comes from scars. No model would know that. So I want to frame for y'all the AI playbook. Today, companies, individuals, we're all writing our AI playbooks. In the Developer's Guide to AI, for those that don't know, I wrote a book with two other amazing authors that was picked up by No Starch Press, one of the largest tech publishing platforms out there. Thank you. This book is being vetted by some amazing technical sourcers and researchers, and so far, it looks like we know something. And so, highly recommend checking that out. We have the books at the merch store, and 100% of all of the sales will be going to charity to kind of support the mission that we have here. And huge shout outs. And two of the other co-authors are here today, Jerry and Jacob, right over here in the corner. Thank you. They have some amazing talks today as well, and maybe tomorrow too, so check those out. But as we're writing our Developer's Guide to AI, we make a very big distinction between AI architects, the researchers building the foundations, and AI chefs, the builders and leaders who mix the ingredients into real-world solutions. This talk is the chef's playbook. Not built on hype, I don't like that, but built on wisdom of scars. And it has 4 essential plays: control, specialization, agency, and context. Which AI strategy should be implemented to address specific challenges? Control, you focus on prompt engineering to refine AI outputs and ensure accuracy. Specialization, fine-tune AI models for specific tasks to specifically improve performance. Context, utilizing RAG and MCP servers to enhance AI's understanding and relevance. And agency, develop AI agents to automate tasks and increase efficiency. So what are we talking about? Whoop, skip 1, skip 2. Play number 1, control. Your first scar comes fast, really fast, especially around AI. You try an LLM, and the magic fizzles. The response may be disappointing. It's generic or flat out wrong. You don't get the hype. You see everybody talking about how they're making this AI startup in a weekend, and you're looking at it like, why is my output not getting that? Where am I going wrong? How much time are teams wasting fighting the model to just follow basic instructions? And what does that frustration do to their momentum, their morale? How are you losing speed trying to fight with this thing over minute details? That scar teaches the first play, control. Prompts are not magic spells, they are code. Version them, test them, guard them, build the discipline that turns a wild card into a reliable teammate. Think about a simple task like generating a list of blog posts with their titles. Someone new to LLM might say, give me blog titles about AI, and they want to see a list. The result, very generic headlines. And if you go to some of the blogging sites, you'll see what I'm talking about right now. But the senior engineer, the one with the scars from failed content launches, knows how to add constraints. What do those constraints look like? Instead of saying generate 10 blog posts, it'll say generate 10 blog post titles about AI for a technical audience. Each title must contain a number and a verb and must feel both urgent and helpful. For example, 7 steps to fine-tune your LLM. That specific constrained prompt isn't about magic. It's about discipline, born from experience. And scars, I know them well. I have some scars. Some I'm proud of, and some I try to hide with a little bit of facial hair. Another example of this. Look at this amateur approach. Analyze the sales data. You're probably not going to get great output with that. And if y'all listen to the podcast, you know I love to claim that I'm the king of long prompts. And this is an example of that, right? You're a senior sales analyst analyzing the attached Q4 sales data, focusing on 3 metrics: month-over-month growth trends, performance by region versus target, top 3 underperforming products with potential causes. Then present the findings in executive summary format with bullet points, followed by detailed analysis, flag any dead anomalies you notice. If your calculations are needed, show your work. Quality of output will be night and day of a difference. Play number 2, context. Let me drink some water. I know some of y'all just hurry up. Play number 2 is context. RAG and MCP servers. The next scar, I like to call it AI amnesia. You ask about a recent event, it talks about last year. You ask about your internal docs and it knows nothing. Think about your company's proprietary knowledge. Support wikis, design docs, customer research. How much of it is invisible to the very AI systems you're betting on? That scar teaches the second play, context. If the AI doesn't have the right knowledge, you must bring the knowledge to it. This is retrieval augmented generation, AKA RAG. But the most effective teams are actually going a step further right now. And they've built MCPs, or Model Context Protocol servers. The example that I love to give to really make this kind of go in, when you have an MCP, you're providing it documentation, information, graphs, whatever you want to provide it. But it's all local information first. So when you prompt your LLM, it will reference that before it references the World Wide Web, before it references its training data. So your responses are very specific to you. And imagine for a second, you have a team or a company that is international. You have a team in America, you have a team in Canada, you have a team in Spain. They're writing documentation in their local language and dialect. And they come across a problem. And in their docs, they write the phrase, translated roughly in English, now we're in an empanada. A direct translation from a model would read this to be an empanada. If you're not familiar, it's delicious. It's a meat pastry. And if you translate that directly with the LLM, it may think all of a sudden, oh, you're in the restaurant business, and completely change the meaning of the rest of the documentation. But by having it localized first, by having your MCP server where it can reference your docs, what does it then do? It realizes this is a metaphor. And it means we're now in a pickle. We're now in a tough spot. This is a mess. We're in a jam. If you remove this microservice, you remove this tool. That's a very deep layer of understanding that wouldn't be valuable and necessary around MCP that you wouldn't get if you just reference LLM by itself. This changes and understands the context of localized documentation, knows in this context that the phrase now means we're in a pickle. It has the wisdom that you provided it. It turns a nonsensical metaphoric phrase into an accurate, insightful, and useful piece of insight for the company. It's the scar from the days of siloed knowledge and cultural gaps that teaches you the value of centralizing everything in a professional way. RAG gives better answers, but only scars teach you to ask, are we even solving the right problem? Plane number 3, specialization, fine-tuning. Control and context are powerful, but then comes the curse of the generic assistant. The AI is helpful, but never nuanced. It can't label your emails in categories unique to your business. It can't draft contracts in your voice. That scar teaches the third play of specialization. Fine-tuning is how we teach new skills, but scars warn us. Brute force retraining is risky and very expensive. Models forget what they know. The wisdom-driven approach, PEFT and LoRa, surgical upgrades, new skills without catastrophic forgetting. Think about a late night. You're working on a feature, And you get into a state and you think it's good. You're getting it done. You're getting a lot of work done. And the client says, this is perfect. Thank you. But you know it's not. You see the 99% accuracy. But you know that 1% error rate is still there. That 1%, you're so hard on yourself. That 1% could be 100% at this point. You're just hard on yourself and you're digging it down. You've been up all night trying to fix it because you don't want to give a client something that you know is going to fall down later on, and you're still seeing your eyes are burning while you're working at the table, and you're angry with yourself that you can't get it to that flawless state that you demand because you know you have standards, you know you have quality, you know you have the abilities, you just don't have time, and those thank yous that you got earlier, that perfect that you heard, feels like an empty sentence to you. That anger is relentless in that internal drive. That is a scar. It's a scar from the nights that you stay up, not because you have to, but because you're hard on yourself, because you know it could be better. And every time I talk about scars, I remember that angry, frustrating, lonely feeling. I got scars. Some I'm proud of, okay? Some I try to hide with facial hair. And play number 4 is agency. And finally, the bottleneck scar. The AI classifies, the lead then stops. Humans pick up the rest. The bottleneck just moved downstream. How many manual steps are your people still taking after the AI helps? Is it really helping at that point? And what would it mean if the AI could not only label, but research, draft, log, and deliver? That scar teaches the final play, agency. Agents don't just answer, they act. They plan, they reason, they execute across your tools and systems. This is how you move from answers to outcomes, how you go from a wish to a measurable impact. An example, a sales team uses AI to qualify inbound leads. The AI looks at the lead form and says, this looks like a high-value prospect. Great, but the human still has to manually look them up, find them on LinkedIn, find their company website, research recent news, and draft a personalized email. The bottleneck remains. The wisdom-driven team, scarred by more missed opportunities and manual busy work, builds an agent. The agent receives the lead, automatically hits a LinkedIn API to get the prospect's title, scrapes their company's press page for recent announcements, and drafts a hyper-personalized email that includes a relevant detail. It then logs the activity in the CRM and puts it in the sales rep's queue. The AI didn't just give an answer, it actually did the work. So conclusion, we arrive at the real choice. You can write a playbook that chases knowledge, faster, cheaper, more data, and more answers. Or you can write a playbook that cultivates wisdom, empowering your people to use the tools to ask better questions, to build with judgment, to lead with scars. Knowledge is a commodity. Don't get it twisted. But wisdom, especially right now, this is your competitive advantage. I don't care what industry you're in. Your scars are not liabilities. They are the very things that make you irreplaceable in the age of AI. And me, I have scars. Some I am proud of, and some I try to hide with facial hair. Thank you. I think that went well.